Okay, I'm going to show you how to do step 3 in our progression on establishing our framework, which is creating units. So to be ready for this point, you need to have already created the course itself at the top level. You needed to have established your learning targets from your standards as step 2, so that we are, again, beginning with the end in mind. And now we're going to organize those into units and into topics. So of course you'll need to be very familiar with your standards. A lot of times standards are organized into different clusters and groupings that may very well help you create these units, and maybe terminology that you can use as your starting point. You can also, of course, copy and paste from current frameworks if you have those established. So first I'm going to navigate to a course in my program here that I'm working on, and I've got a 7th grade English Language Arts course that I'm kind of using as a sample here. So I'm going to find the course that I want to work on. I'm going to go into it, and over here, again, we're at the course level right now. We're on the main course page. And we can't really jump to anything yet because we haven't established those lower levels. I can see the learning targets that I've established, but they're not being currently associated with anything yet because we haven't created that. So move back up. Okay, so right here, once you've saved the course page, you do have to save it first, but then this button will appear. So if you don't see this button, make sure you click save. Make sure you check for red text because you may be getting some sort of error message that you've left a required field blank. But make sure you take care of those, click save, and then this new unit button should appear. So I'm going to click on that. And here are the fields for establishing a unit. The only required fields here are a title for the unit and a time frame. The rest of these, once again, are optional fields. If you have something to complete those with right now, it would be a very good thing to fill in, but you are not obligated for completion of phase 1 to fill in any of these lower fields. A couple that I would probably encourage you to fill out would be if you have materials and resources that are specific to this particular unit. They're not used for the entire course, they're not something that you only use with one particular lesson, but something that you use for the entire unit, you could fill those in. You could put a link in here or list the title of a book. And summative assessments. I know if you're establishing your units as quarters, you may have a quarterly exam that you can complete here as well. So let's go back up to the unit title. You could establish your units as quarters. That is a pretty common way of organizing this so that you have 4 units, one for each grading period. This is the way a lot of the model curriculum from the DOE is established. So you could name this quarter 1. And if you did, you would of course create this as 9 weeks. But there are some other options as well. You could establish this as an area of study such as writing processes, and maybe you're only going to focus on that for 2 weeks. Now you have this little checkbox for ongoing. This is an alternative to a specific time frame like this, and it would be used if you have something that you're going to create as a unit to organize into your program, into your curriculum, but it's something you're going to do all year long. You know, in an English language arts class like this, maybe a great example is spelling. You know, so you could create a spelling unit and you would just mark it as ongoing because that's going to be continuous on top of all the other units that you're doing. It's something you're going to weave in and out throughout the entire year. So that's what this ongoing box is for. It's also important that you understand that this time frame is just a rough guide. It is not something that you are tied to or going to be held accountable to. It's just a way of making sure that we can organize the year so that we can get through all the material, because we all know there's a lot of standards, and if we end up spending too long on one particular thing, we may not get through the whole year. So if you establish this as a 2-week time frame and it takes you 2.5, that's not a problem. You just need to mentally know that you're a little behind schedule and you're going to have to make a cut somewhere else in order to fit everything in. So things teachers do all the time. So once you've established these 2 fields, like I said, the rest of them are optional, so we can click Save. After you've clicked Save, if you go to the bottom of the unit page, there have been some new things that will show up. You can now add attachments to this unit now that it's been created, so you could attach a file here, you could put a link in here, which I believe would be a hyperlink that we can actually click on so we don't have to copy and paste it. You can decide who is going to be able to see that. The public one will only happen once we've actually published our curriculum, not when it's in its pending state like it is right now. So as you fill these in, they will appear in a list here. There's also now a box for comments. So as we're teaching this unit throughout the year, we can make notes for ourselves of how we want to maybe adjust it for the following year. Okay, so if we make any changes there, we can save that. And now I'm going to I can go back if I want to create a new unit. There's also a new unit button right here. So if I'm ready to create my next unit, I can just skip to that. Or I may want to create the topics within this unit, and here's my new topic button. That button will not appear until you have saved this unit for the first time.